right, this is the Chapter 1 Algebra Review Sheet. All right, so we're going to start with solving. Be sure you're showing all your work. All right, so we draw a line down the equal sign. This reminds us that our left and our right side is balanced. I have an x on both sides. I want all my x's on one side and all my numbers by themselves on one side. So I remove my smaller x by subtracting it. 5 is smaller than 7. That's why I chose to move it. It avoids negatives. We remove a positive by a negative or subtracting. Leaves me with an 8. 7 minus 5 is 2x plus 2. Bring down one I didn't get to use. Now I have my x's on one side, but I need to solve for x now. So we always start with our addition subtraction there. Leaves me with 2x. Doing its inverse, its opposite. This is multiplication, its inverse is division. I showed y'all how to plug that into your calculator and get a true or false. So you would do 7 times 3 plus 2 equals sign, 5 times 3 plus 8 equals sign, and if you hit enter, it'll say true or false. True because we did it correctly. All right, let's look at number 2. Draw my line. I have a number outside of parentheses, which lets me know that I'm going to distribute. So 4 times 2x is 8x. Bring down my subtraction. 4 times 5 is 20. I have variables on both sides. I need to move my variables to one side. So I'm going to move my smaller. So I'm going to move my 5. This cancels, leaving me with just a 4. 8 minus 5 is 3x. Did not use my minus 20. Subtract 20. Add 20 to both sides. Divide both sides by 3. X equals 8. When I say we need to see all steps, we need to see what the distributing ended up being. We need to see the minus, we need to see the plus on both sides, and the divide by both sides. Alright? Let's look at the next one. I'll breeze through the rest a little bit faster, but you're more than welcome to pause or rewind or do whatever you need if you need to hear it again. Alright, so I'm going to draw a line. Plus 7, plus 7. Negative 13 plus 7 is 6. Negative 6, sorry. This is division, so the opposite of division is to multiply. I have some people who like to put lines between each of these steps. That's fine. Whatever helps you organize as long as you're showing work. Number 4, equal sign. I do have a distributing, so I'm going to go ahead and write that negative 3x plus, so don't forget it. Distribute this 7x, minus 7 times 2 is 14. I've got like terms I need to combine first. So 4x, add 14 to both sides. These cancel. I don't care if you don't mark out your cancellations. I do it just because it helps me stay organized in my thinking. But you definitely don't have to if that's not what helps you. Divide both sides by 4. And we get 6.5. Or if you want to leave it as a fraction, I am perfectly okay with that as long as it's simplified. So that 26 over 4 would have needed to be simplified. 13/2. All right, number 5, this subtraction here keeps messing up a lot of you. So I'm going to rewrite this problem. So we have 19, and when I have no number in front of that parentheses, I just put a 1. So all I've done is rewrite it just so that 1 is there. If I have a subtraction in front of my parentheses, I need to add a line, change the sign, because we forget to distribute that. So 19 plus negative 1 times p is just negative p or negative 1p. Bring down my addition. Negative 1 times 3 is negative 3. 19 plus a negative 3 is 16. Plus a negative p, or just minus p. Subtract 16 from both sides. Negative p is 1. To get rid of that 1, it's just a negative 1, so divide by negative 1. Or some of you just realize it's just flipping both sides. Alright. Number 6 is with some decimals. Drop my line. I have 0.2t minus. Remember to bring your sign with it. Whatever operation is in front of that number, you need to bring it with you. So this is going to be a negative decimal 6t. I dropped the 0. If you don't feel comfortable dropping that 0, that's fine. Some people don't. Subtract 29 from both sides. Sorry, my desk is squeaking. I don't know if you can hear it in the video, but I'm sorry because I know some of you extra sounds drive you crazy. This is not 24 divided by 6. Some of you keep doing that. It's 24 divided by decimal 6. And it's okay to use a calculator if that's not something you're comfortable with. This one's going to be 40. And it's positive because negative divided by negative. Alright, number 7. Let's look at number 7. We've got a lot of distributing here. So let's do it. So 3m. Bring down my subtraction. 3 times 2 is 6. Minus the 5 I didn't get to use. 8 plus 3m. Bring down my subtraction. 3 times 4 is 12. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and combine like terms. So I have a negative 6 minus 5. So that's going to be 3m minus 11. 8 minus 12. We have negative 4 plus 3m. Alright, so then I want to get all my m's to one side. They are equal, so it doesn't matter which side when I subtract it from both sides. Then you say negative 11 equals negative 4. And this was our newest lesson that we had. And when we know that a negative 11 does not equal negative 4. So I'm going to put a slash through it saying they're not equal. And there's no solution. That means there is no number you can plug in that will work. And we also can show no solution by a 0 with a slash through it. You will see both of those used in word and in symbol. So no solution. Number 8. Again, a lot of distributing. So I have a subtraction in front of this one, so I'm going to add a line, change a sign to it. We do that because that subtraction has to go with whatever's being distributed, and we tend to forget it if it's not attached to the number. So negative 3 times 2 is negative 6w, plus negative 3 times 1 is negative 3. Same thing on this side. We have a subtraction, so add a line, change a sign with it. 7w plus negative 3 times 7 is negative 21. Negative 3 times w is negative 3w. Combine some like terms here, so nothing's going to combine with negative 6w, but I have 12 plus a negative 3, which is just positive 9. And then I have 7w plus a negative 3w, which is 4w, plus a negative 21, or if you want to change that to a minus 21, that's okay, because plus and negative is the same as subtracting. Bring my smaller one over. So negative 6 is smaller. If you bring the other one over, it's going to work. It just, this way helps you avoid some negatives. And I'm all about avoiding negatives if I can. And I know students are also. So 4 plus 6 is 10, plus a negative 21. Add 21. We get 30. Divide both sides by 10. W equals 3, or 3 equals W. Alright, let's go to the next page. Now, as I told you in class, you don't have to do all of these. You can choose and pick and choose which ones you want to do. I don't expect it. This is not a grade. This is not extra credit. This is just practice for your test. So you may say, hey, number 9, I don't need practice on. And that's okay. It's you taking some responsibility for your education, and I love it. So if you don't feel like you need all of them, then that's fine. That's up to you. All right, so we're going to start here with 10. So I'm going to subtract 10 from both sides. Don't forget that negative with that 3. I have a few of you who are still doing that. You're dropping your signs, and you can't drop your signs. You got to bring them with you. All right. 10, some of you might see this one right off the bat. I need to move a C over, and when I do that, cancels, and negative 3 does not equal 3. So this is a no solution. All right, let's look at 11. All right, I have a negative in front of that distributing, so add a line, change the sign. So I have 6 plus negative 7a, so negative 7a, plus negative 7 times 1 is negative 7. I'm gonna break this down piece by piece. Some of you might have gone ahead and combined on that right side, and that's okay. I'm gonna take it a little slow. On that left side, I'm going to combine my numbers. So I have negative 7a, and 6 plus a negative 7 is a negative 1. So I'm going to just write it as subtracting 1. You could do it as a plus a negative 1 if you want. Doesn't matter. Negative 2a plus 5a is 3a. Bring down my 6. I'm going to move my smaller coefficient, my smaller negative 7 is smaller. You can see by doing its opposite, I'm left with just positives over here, which is what I want. Add 6 to both sides. Divide both sides by 10. And again, I don't care if you put it as a fraction or a decimal. I'm going to keep it as a fraction. But you could have also put 0.5. Let's look at number 12. So 1/3 is the same as divided by 3. So 1/3 of 18. If you don't know this, then do 1/3 times 18 in your calculator. But 18 divided by 3 is going to be 6x. Bring down my subtraction. 1/3 of 36 is 12. Some of you right off the bat see, oh, we've got the same coefficient. Yes, but notice the sides are the same, but I'm going to go ahead and work it out. Subtract that 6x from both sides. And I get negative 12 because negative 12. Now, the difference between this one from 10, we talked about this in class. This one has where they're not equal, which is no solution, not no. This one says they're equal. That means any number I plug into x is going to work. Any number I plug in. So this is all real numbers. Which you can write out all real numbers, or if you want to use the symbol for that, which is the R with the double lines. All right, let's look at a word problem. It says to write an equation and solve it. To rent a car from the car rental place, Juan must pay $20 plus, well, that's a good start, so $20 plus an additional $1.50 per mile. Now, per is a multiplication word, so per mile. I'm going to drop the 0 because it's not needed, but if you want to keep it, again, it's not incorrect. I do have some of you who keep trying to put an X. I'm going to write this right here so you can see what I'm talking about. Some of you keep doing 1.5 times m. We can't do that because now it looks like 1.5 x as a variable, m as a variable. So we don't write x for multiplication anymore. If you want to use a parenthesis, you can, but they need to be next to each other. If one has a total, ooh, so there's my total, 350. How many miles can he afford? So I'm asking to solve for that mile. So I'm going to go ahead and solve it. Subtract 20. Divide by 1.5. Divide by 1.5. 220. So our answer is 220 miles. I don't care if you don't put it into words. I think putting into words helps us make sure we answered our question, which was how many miles can we afford to drive it. All right, let's look at 14. A moving company charges $1,200 for supplies needed to pack up a small house. An additional, so they're going to charge me $1,200 just for the supplies. And that word additional means addition. 90 per hour. Per is a multiplication word. 90 per hour. So loading and moving. If the cost of moving is $1,740, that's my total. How many hours did the moving company need to move the small house? So now we're going to solve. And it is asking us to solve for this H, this hours. And we get 6. It took 6 hours. All right, let's go to number 15. I know I'm breezing through these, but there's a lot of them. All right, 7 decreased by twice a number is negative 19. Find that number. So 7 is decreased by. 7 is decreased by twice. Twice means 2 times a number is negative 19. Draw a line. Get rid of that positive 7. Negative 7. Negative 2n. Negative 26. Divide by negative 2. And equals 13. My number was 13. Spencer begins a savings account with $100 and plans to add $55 each month. So $100 plus he adds $55 per month. His friend Ethan, so this is Spencer's, Ethan decides to open a savings account as well, but has no money to begin with. If Ethan adds 75, so we have Ethan's, which I'm going to just write over here. Ethan is not going to start out with anything. He does $75 each month. So Spencer's, and I have Ethan's. If Ethan adds 75, it's kind of a month. How long will it take for the two boys to have the same amount? That word same means equal. So I want to see when they are going to be equal. So I'm just going to solve this. Now, I used M for month, and I use, if I'm solving for month, I use the letter M because then it reminds me at the end what I was solving for. Now, some of you like to use your favorite letter or something like that, and that's fine. But just remember at the end what you're solving for. And this one is asking us how long it'll take. So we answer the question with 5 months. Now be careful, because it could have asked you, at what month would Spencer have had the same amount as Ethan? And then you would have had to, or no, it might have asked you how much money Ethan would have had, or how much money Spencer would have had when they would have been equal. And so you would have then had to plug that 5 in. So be sure you're reading the question and make sure you're answering it. All right. Megan had a coupon for $5 off the purchase of one item. So that is going to be a subtraction off of the purchase. So I'm going to be purchasing something here. She decided to buy a shirt that was on sale for 3/4 of its original price. So we have 3/4 of the price. After using the coupon, Megan paid only $19. So at the end, her total was $19. What was the original price? So I want to know what that P is. So I'm going to add 5 to both sides. And then this is multiplication. So when I have 3/4, the opposite is to divide. So I would do 24 divided by 3/4. But when we divide, to divide fractions, don't ask why. Flip the second one. So I'm going to keep 24. I'm going to stick it over 1. Flip the second one and multiply. And so I can use what's called the reciprocal here. And multiply times 4/3. What this does is 3 times 4 is 12, 4 times 3 is 12, 12 over 12 gives me that 1 P that I want. So these cancel, because my whole goal is to cancel things, to get rid of them. And 24 times 4/3 is 32. Now, I could always go back and I go, okay, she paid 3/4 of the price, so I could have done 3/4 of 32 and then subtracted 5 and saw that it was 19. All right, number 18. Number 18 has shown up a lot in homework, a lot in classwork. This type of problem has been almost every single homework. We should be getting them down. It is the type of question that shows up on STAR test. It is something the state of Texas has said when solving for variables, kids need to be able to do it with perimeter. That's why we see it so much. I know it's something the state of Texas is saying you have to know how to do. So that is what we've been working to. So I go ahead and I label W, L, W, L, and I use cursive L so it doesn't look like a 1. The length of a rectangle, so my length of a rectangle is 5 less than 4 times the width. So I have 4 times the width, and it's going to be 5 less than that. Oh, sorry, that's off the screen. Okay. So I'm going to come over here, and I'm going to replace my L with 4W minus 5. The perimeter is 75. What is the length? So I'm going to be coming back to this formula in a little bit. But to find perimeter, we add all the sides. So I'm going to do W plus, and I don't want to do the L because I know that it equals 4W minus 5 plus W plus 4W minus 5 equals 75. All right. So I'm going to combine like terms. And 10 W's. Now some of you combine it over here, and that's okay. Because when I'm looking for that equation, I'm really just looking for this. I'm looking for what I'm going to use to solve. So if you go ahead and you do your combining over here, I don't care if you don't write out this whole thing. Because I understand to some of you this is messy, this is easy to maybe make a mistake or confusion. So I'm perfectly okay with that. I'm really just looking for this. So I'm going to go ahead and solve. Now I know it's a length, so I know it can't be a negative number. So we don't have lengths and widths. We don't have sides of things. As negative. So my width is 8.5, and some of you have been stopping there. Let's go back and read our question. What is the length? And we only found the width, so I come back to this length up here, and I'll plug in that W. Four times 8.5 is, it's 34. Minus 5. 34 minus 5 is 29. So my length is 29. What's beautiful from there is I can plug that in then. 29 plus 29 plus 8.5 plus 8.5 should equal 75. All right, let's move on. All right, Question number 19. The perimeter of a triangle is 36. Okay, so when I add all those up, it's going to be 36. If the three sides are x, 3x plus 4, and x plus 2, what is the length of each side? So I should have multiple answers here. All right, so my total is 36. And then I have x plus 3x plus 4 plus x plus 2. Again, I don't care if you combine your like terms over here. It's not going to bother me at all. 3, 4, 5. Yeah, so 5x's plus 4, 5, 6. Subtract my 6. Didn't give us much room on this one. Sorry about that. So x equals 6. So I know this side is going to equal 6. This side is going to be 6 plus 2, so 8. And this side is going to be 3 times 6, 18 plus 4. Just to double check, 22 plus 8 is 30, plus 6 is 36. It did give me my 36. So I should see multiple pieces to that. Oh, this one said, see, I didn't even read the directions. Write an equation for each, but do not solve. So we didn't have to solve it. I probably would have solved that one anyways, just because it's one that we keep constantly missing, where we're not finding each of the sides. So let's just write equations. House painting company charges $376 plus $12 per hour. Another painting company, so this is A's company, charges $280 plus $15 per hour. How long is it for the job? Is a job for which both companies charge the same? So I would put an equal sign. In our next unit, we're going to look at not putting equal sign there. We're going to look at comparing those. Devin wants to save $250 in time for his family's vacation. He currently has 65, so we're starting off with 65. And he plans to mow his lawns until he reaches his goal. He receives 25 each lawn. So I'm going to add 25 for each lawn. I'm going to use an M because I don't like using an L. M for mows. How many lawns does he have to mow in order to reach his goal? His goal was 250. Again, it didn't ask us to solve. If you want some practice solving these and you want to know if you did them right, you can just let me know and I will tell you. I can work it out for you and show you. 22. 3 more than. So I'm going to be adding 3 to something. 25% of a number. We cannot keep 25% as a percent. We have to change it to a fraction or decimal. So 25% of a number is equivalent or equal. So it's equal to the difference. So I'm now going to be subtracting something of that number. So number and 9. Okay. We didn't necessarily need the parentheses. You could have taken them off. All right, let's look at number 23. Mr. James spent a total of $11.35 on 4 tacos and a drink. If all drinks are 99 cents, so he spent 99 cents on his drink plus 4 tacos. What is the cost of each taco? So he spent $11.35. Again, you could have, community property says I could have said 4T plus 99 cents. That would have been okay. All right, so we've got some verbal descriptions and some equations to write. So 4 times, so we're going to be doing 4 times, but it says a number. So 4 times a number decreased, so we're going to decrease it by 3 is negative 20. 3 less than, so we're going to be subtracting 3 from something. 4 times, we're going to be subtracting 4 times the number, it's negative 20. Is it okay that those are the same? Yes, because they're the same equation, they're just their verbal description's a little bit different. Let's look at this one. 3 decreased by, so this time we're doing 3 decreased by 4 times the number is negative 20. So that one is a little bit different. This one is 3 decreased by, so we're decreasing it by 4. 4n actually. Okay. And there's one more. Sorry, it's on the back. The difference of, so we're going to be doing the difference of 4 times the number and 3 is negative 20. All right, answer the following and show all work. Which of the following statements does not represent the equation x divided by 2 plus 3 equals 5? All right, so let's look. The quotient of a number and 2, so the quotient means divide, of the number and 2, increased by 3 is 5. So that works. 3 added, so we're going to be adding 3 to something. Half a number, so we're going to take a number and we're going to do half of it, is 5. Well, that matched. 3 more than, so I'm going to be adding 3 to something. Twice a number is 5. That does not match, but before I say I'm done, I want to check D. The sum, so the sum of half a number, so half of a number, and 3 is 5. So C was my only one that was incorrect. 26. Which of the following represents this equation? 3 parentheses x minus 1 equals 10. 3 times a number, so 3 times a number, sorry, I keep writing sideways. 3 times a number decreased by 1 is 10. So that one does not match. 3 times, and it doesn't tell us what a number that time. This one said 3 times a number, but this one says 3 times, and it gives us an operation. So that means I'm going to be doing something, a subtraction. I'm going to take that 3 and multiply it, whatever this subtraction equals. A number and 1 is 10. That matches, but before I get all excited, let's check C and D. The product of 3, so multiplication of 3, and the sum, so sum means addition, of a number and 1 is 10. That doesn't match. 1 less than, so I'm going to be subtracting 1 from 3 times a number is 10. So no, the only one that matched our problem was B. All right, number 27. The equation F equals 9/5 C plus 32 changes Celsius temperature to Fahrenheit temperature. If the Fahrenheit temperature is negative 32.8, what's the Celsius? So I have my equation, and I'm going to replace my Fahrenheit with negative 32.8 equals 9/5 C plus 32. All right. So I'm going to add 32 to both, subtract 32 from both sides. Sorry. This leaves me with negative 64.8 and 9/5. So I'm going to do the reciprocal here, which is 5/9. So I'll multiply that side times 5/9. I would have pulled out a calculator for this. If you have a graphing calculator, you would have done 5/9 and then minus your times your negative 64.8. But if you are on a normal calculator, you're going to do 5/9, push equals, and then multiply it times negative 64.8. And so when we do that, we get negative 36. If you wanted to do this by hand, you would have done 5/9 times negative 64.8 over 1. So we've done top times top, bottom times bottom. All right, number 28. If 8 minus parentheses x plus 5 equals 12, what is the value of x plus 5? So let's first solve this. We have a subtraction out front, and we don't have a number there, so I'm going to change it to x minus 8. I'm sorry. I'm saying numbers wrong. I'm going to add a line change sign because we don't want a subtraction out front. So 8 plus negative 1x plus negative 5. Combine my like terms here. I get 3. And you can either do plus negative 1x or just minus x. Keep the 1 there. That might be helpful for some of you. Then I'm going to subtract 3. This leaves me a negative 1x. And this leaves me a 9. Divide both sides by negative 1. X equals negative 9. But that's not what my problem asks. It asks, then what's the value of x plus 15? So I'm going to do negative 9. That's what my x equaled. Plus 15. And we get that our answer is 6. All right, let's look at 29. So 29, when we have two fractions are equal to each other, the best way to solve them is through cross multiplication. So we're going to do 10 times 3, which is 30. Keep my equal sign. And then we're going to do negative 2 times r plus 1. So I'm going to have to distribute that negative 2 to both of those parts. So negative 2r plus negative 2. Now the reason we didn't do add a line, change a sign here is because this is already a negative. Okay? In that case, it's not a subtraction, it's a negative. So we're going to add 2 to both sides. Divide both sides by negative 2. R equals negative 16. All right, that is the end of it. You will see at the very end that there was some answers to kind of help you out if you needed that. Remember, this is used if you want to check, not as a fill in the blank kind of thing. If you have any questions, please let me know. I will send you my email address because even though if you have questions the night before, I try to check my phone the night before text just in case students have questions. So there is my email address. If you have any questions, just go ahead and email me. You all have a great night.